All right. Hello. Welcome to game two. I'm Exploding Duck.
I'm now Tomori, and yeah, we're gonna be heading straight into game two draft, where we see the that BEP really doesn't want to play against Jin or Ari, so they banned that out immediately. Meanwhile, as expected, the 2 million mastery point Zaya Blade Singularity
And
also
uh,
getting banned out.
TSM banning out Hecate's Oriana. That's one of his mains.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to see how the teams will try and adapt to what happened in game one. We can see that Lee Sin comes out for BEP, which uh, is very similar to Gragas. So, but he has a little more early game dueling potential. Meanwhile, Lux and Braum coming out for red side. So again, so this is more of a pick composition on TSM side.
The Lucian Braum is a lot of pressure in bot lane early.
Yeah, so they're gonna, especially into Ashe, they're gonna have a lot of kill pressure. But we see the Camille comes out again. I thought the Camille performed really well in the early stages of the game for BEP last time for Pow Pow, but then ran it a little bit against the Malphite. So we'll have to see what happens.
Mhm. And with the Lux mid, that's some solid setup for team fights in terms of picks.
Yeah, we can already see the team comp starting to shape out a little bit. We see that blue side goes for more of like a pick skirmish heavy team with Lee Sin, Camille, Ash, and now Bard is being shown. They're clearly not interested in just straight up team fighting you, but they're going to try and get ahead in the side lanes. They're going to use Lee Sin's early game pressure versus Kane. Kane is generally a much weaker early game jungler than Lee Sin, and they're gonna go with again the pick composition from last game, and yeah, they're gonna try and get an early lead. Meanwhile, the enemy team, the red side, will be going for more standard team comp fight. So very similar to what happened in game one, but with slightly different champion.
Mhm. And the Lee Sin and Camille are a lot of dive pressure onto the back line. So it makes sense that we've got Lucian on red side since he has some disengage in his kit.
Oh wow, Kennen. Okay,
Yeah. Cannon
so
into Camille.
Kennen into Camille. Yeah, this is a very volatile matchup. So generally, okay, so if we just look at the matchups right now, we have Camille into Kennen in the top side, Lee Sin versus Kane in the jungle, uh, Zoe versus Lux in the mid lane, and Ash Bard versus Braum Lucian in the bot lane. So I think the easiest one to call here is going to be the bot lane. Lucian Braum is really, really strong, and Ash Bard is not a super strong lane, and Bard is not really great against tank supports. So we expect that red side bot lane will have a lot more pressure, and they'll be able to potentially look for a lot of kills. Um,
Especially since Ash is an immobile carry, the Bard will probably have to spend quite a bit of time in lane to make sure Sam is safe on her,
yeah,
which means he'll have less time to roam for meeps.
that's a good point because if Bard ever leaves Ash's side, then it's very likely that they'll just get dove. Ash will just get
Mhm.
dove by Braum Lucian, which is really scary. So for people who don't know how Braum passive works, if Braum hits an enemy with an ability or an auto attack, he puts a mark on them, and then his auto attacks or ally auto attacks will also apply additional marks. And once the target is marked for 4 marks, then they'll be stunned for a really long time. And so Lucian auto attacks like twice every time he uses an ability. So he applies the mark super, super fast along with Braum, which is why it's such a deadly combination. So yeah, that's why it's really scary to go against that kind of team composition or bottom lane.
Also worth mentioning, because Lucian's E lets him dash in any direction, and Brahm's W lets him hop to an ally champion or minion, they have a lot of both engage and disengage to pull that off.
Yep. So we talked a lot about bot lane. Looking at the mid lane, Lux tends to be a very weak laner. because her wave clear is really bad early on. She has a lot of mana issues, and she doesn't really have that much damage. And Zoe's also a very strong laner, especially into immobile champions, immobile spellcasters, because it's very easy for her to apply the sleepy trouble bubble. So we also expect that we expect that Zoe is going to have a lot of prio into Lux, and Lux won't be able to do much until like mid to late game. So jungle, we already talked. Oh, okay. So
Oh yeah, I was just
you
about
want to
to
call it? You want
say,
to? Yeah, you want to talk about that?
yeah, moving from mid onto jungle, the Lee Sin is likely going to go for a 3-camp clear into gank or scuttle. He is an early duelist. So along with the Zoe, the Lee Sin will probably be making things difficult for the Lux. And I don't know what DX is planning to do on Kane, but I wouldn't be surprised if he avoided the counter gank mid, since he's probably going to be looking to get his red form. Um,
Uh, yeah.
because
Um,
he needs red to fight the Lee Sin, and Bard, Zoe, and Ash all have some self peel that would seem like they would make blue form more difficult to pull off.
Yes. So what you said is definitely right about like the jungle matchup. Kane is pretty much going to be looking to avoid fighting Lee Sin at all costs, and Lee Sin is going to be trying to invade with Zoe and try and pressure the Kane off farm. Kane is just you mentioned that Lee Sin's just going to look to do 3 camps, then scuttle or gank. Meanwhile, Kane's probably going to try and look to full clear or try and at least just farm up a little bit. But he still does have to gank in order to get his form. So the question of whether blue Kane or red Kane here, I think we'll find out right as we load in what DX is going for, whether he takes Conquer or Dark Harvest. Generally, red Kane is a lot tankier and you have a lot of survivability in fights, but blue Kane has a lot more mobility and assassination potential. And we see here that DX
Red
probably
Kane.
going for red Kane, yep, has Conquer, which means that he's looking for those extended fights. However, this does mean that if he doesn't want to delay his form, he's going to have to gank top because all the other lanes are range lanes. Like Ash, Ash and Zoe are both ranged laners. So if he wants to get his red stacks, he's going to have to gank Camille. But that's actually really hard because Camille's not very easy to gank because she has the E.
Mm-hmm. The other notable change from last game is Pow Pow is going for press the attack
Yep.
rather than conqueror this game on Camille top
I think,
lane,
yep. I think that
which
makes,
is probably because he's going to be looking for shorter trades with the Kennen as opposed to the Malphite, which wants to stall out a fight.
yeah, exactly. Interestingly, Kennen is going electrocute. That is something I have not seen.
Perhaps building around the multiple procs of the ultimate for team fighting, because I could imagine a situation in which Camille ults onto Big Evil Phoenix's backline and the Kennen counter ults essentially, or sorry, TSM's backline, and the Kennen counter ults to stun all involved.
um, I do see how that could happen, but I tend to think that especially in the Camille lane, you definitely want phase rush, and electrocute only applies to single targets, so I don't think it's going to be that useful in team fights compared
That's
to the
true.
utility of phase rush. I honestly think that phase rush, either phase rush or summon. So phase rush you would take for utility and summon Airy for poke, but I don't think electrocute is great on Kennen, although I'm not a Kennen main, so I could be wrong on this
No.
one.
We
But
see both junglers starting red side, presumably pathing towards blue.
yep,
Kane started leashless on his raptors into his red, and Lee Sin started red into wolves, meaning that they're pathing opposite each other, so they will most likely not clash over scuttle. Like you said,
yeah.
now that's the Kane's big mission going into this is not fight the Lee Sin early.
Yeah, so already a small win for the red side that the Kane will most likely just be able to get a free scuttle. On the other hand, Camille, if you'll look at the ward at Raptor Pit on red side, Camille did manage to get vision of Kane. So they know exactly what Kane's doing. So that maybe at least will do something with that information.
Though, since the Lee Sin is now on his Gromp, If he invaded, it would have to be around topside, and the Kayn has not left any camps up for him.
Yeah, so I think already. So yeah, Kayn is looking to full clear, and Lee Sin is probably just gonna do wolves into blue. So the mid laner, in terms of mid lane, Zoe's getting the push on. Bot lane, Braum and Lucian are getting the push, and top lane, Top lane I think is the most interesting matchup here, because generally Kennen is really strong against bruisers and ranged top laners or melee top laners. Sorry, but the thing is, Camille has the E ability, which lets her like gap close on from really far away. So it's I think I'm very interested to see how that will play out.
Lee Sin headed top just now. Got a gank off on the Kennen. He did not get a kill or lay much damage, but he did burn Kennen's flash. So Kennen will not have his flash until 8 minutes.
Oh shoot! Sorry, I was behind. Oh, my bad. I was behind a little bit. All right. What's your game time?
3:45 right now.
45. Okay, cool. 340, 350. Okay, cool.
Yep. And you can see Lee Sin is still shadowing Kennen. He's taken top scuttle. Kayn is working on bottom scuttle.
And I think what Lee Sin is doing is really smart, because in the range versus melee top laner, the jungler is really critical. Because top laners often have ranged top laners have very little escape. Oh,
yes.
Kayn.
We got.
Oh, Ash is caught. Ash has
caught, perhaps looking for a dive, flanking around. Though it looks like Lucian and Braum are pulling back, so the Kayn is actually going to try to.
Oh, wait a second. Wait, Kayn might be caught here. Hold on. Gets hit by the Lee Sin Q. Gets slowed by the Bard. Gets stunned by the Bard. Ignite goes down.
Setup.
Nice. Well played by Bard and Lee Sin.
And especially by Bard to let the Lee Sin take the kill.
Yeah. So already advantage to BEP really early on.
Lucian used his heal, but their bot lane has escaped.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lee Sin's probably gonna just look to do his golems. He's sitting on a ward right now. I don't think he knows that, but okay. So he's gonna start to do dragon instead.
Early dragon. Kayn is at the moment in his red side farming up.
All right. Looks like blue side will find themselves a free ocean drag at 5 minutes, and I think this is really important, because blue side wants to accelerate their early game lead with their mid lane prio with Lee Sin. So the fact that they get the first dragon really fast means that Soul will also come up faster. So they're on their way to getting a 20-minute Soul, I believe.
Yep.
If my math is correct. Yeah, a 20-minute Soul. And so basically red side has to scale fast enough to match that, which is actually really hard to do in just 20 minutes. So the fact that they're getting first dragon at 5 minutes puts red side on a very difficult counter or timer. Oh, but Ash is caught.
Is top. Perhaps
Ash is
looking
caught.
for a kill on the Camille, though
Ash is
she
dead.
is under tower.
And Ash overstayed, I guess.
Yeah. Lee Sin and Bard were both mid for a second, but yes. Kayn is Kayn is going
Camille
for
should
the
be
gank.
fine here, I think. Camille just presses E.
He misses his W, his main form of CC, due to the Camille E, so she's going to make it out unscathed. But the Kennen has been shoving the wave pretty repeatedly, which has meant that the Camille has had to take quite a bit of damage trying to freeze it.
Yep. And but on the other hand, Camille is up 10 CS, which is really strange for melee versus range matchups. I think Camille's playing the matchup really well.
She also has now bought her Phage and is coming back to lane, but that Phage means she has quite a bit of sticking power if she ease onto the Kennen.
So I don't like that she's not TPing here. Not only is she giving Kennen a tower plating, but she's losing a ton of CS and XP. So I think her TPing there would have been a much better decision, but I guess she wants to stay there.
Probably true. Though last game she did get her early snowball due to the aggressive teleport bot lane early on.
Yep, that is definitely true.
She could be holding out for that, especially given how shoved her bot lane has been due to, again, the Lucian Braum pressure.
So mid lane is actually a lot closer than I initially anticipated. So I think Lux is playing this a lot better.
There's things. Kane is shadowing mid, it looks like.
Oh, Bard might be dead here.
With Lee Sin.
Oh, Bard might actually be. Oh, bot lane is fighting. Okay, so no kills will go down, but a lot of summoners burned.
Yeah, it seems to me like Ash and Bard got the better side of that trade, getting quite a bit of damage off on the Braum in exchange for not much themselves.
Yeah.
So Bard
Definitely.
does have a lot of in-lane sustain with his heals that Braum can block damage but doesn't have as much sustain.
Yeah. So meanwhile, in the jungle, Kane is ganking top lane, but I think he's just here. Yeah, he's just gonna collect some red stacks. Oh my god.
Oh, Lux solo kill on Zoe. Yeah, we missed
That
that one.
is, yeah. Lux did earlier get a really good trade onto Zoe. She chunked Zoe down for half HP. So I imagine that she just landed a Q and then,
and it looks like she used her ultimate as well.
yep. So really well done on Lux, I think. Just really outplaying the Zoe here, making an unfavorable lane winning, which is really impressive.
And catching up on farm, which she's been struggling a bit so far due to, like you said, the Zoe's pressure.
Yep. So now mid lane is pretty much going to be even, which is really, really good news.
Although both jungle and top look to be making a play on the Lux, though there's her exhaust.
Oh, the R flash from Lee Sin. The R comes out from Camille, and she's dead. They will gift over the kill to Zoe. Nice. And yeah. So
Kennen looks to be potentially freezing the wave.
Yeah, I believe the wave will. Yep, the wave will freeze here, and this is actually going to be really annoying for Camille. But oh, never mind. Kennen oversteps and will take a huge chunk of his HP.
Yeah. Though, due to that, Kennen got his level 8 sooner than Camille, so he does have a level on her.
Yeah, this is one of the problems with not using your TP. You just start to drop behind in a lot of XP. So yeah, we'll have to.
She also cannot effectively dive him due to his ult.
Yeah, she doesn't have ult here, so because she used it in the mid lane.
Lucian and Braum have been out of lane for a little while. It looks like roaming mid and potentially setting up around Dragon. You see they have a ward on the far side of Dragon Pit from red side. Though now they're going back to continue farming, it seems.
So I'm interested to see what the teams will do with this next coming up dragon, because Infernal Dragon's coming up really soon. It looks like blue side will be the first to rotate. And it looks like Kane will not contest, that he'll be content just to keep farming and give up this Infernal Dragon. I think blue side will start the dragon soon, maybe?
Although Kane is, I'm not sure where he's going. He seemed like he was considering going bot, though maybe he's now going for Herald or repeat gank top since the Kennen has the control ward. And
Yep, looks Herald. Like we'll just be a handshaking, agreeing to trade the dragon for a Rift Herald.
Yep.
Zoe has made her way down to the bottom lane, but it doesn't look like she'll be getting too much out of it. She'll just be helping with the dragon a little bit. Meanwhile, there is potential for a top lane dive here with the Herald with Kane and Kennen. Kane and Kennen are actually both really good at diving because Kane can reset tower aggro. Never mind. They're bar portaling in bot lane and. Okay. Anyways.
Back to top.
Back to top. So Kane can reset tower aggro with his ultimate really effectively, and Kennen has can line up guaranteed stun just by pressing his ultimate. So yeah,
and Kane and Camille look to be engaging each other. Lee Sin is on the other side of the map, so nowhere to be seen. Kane does not have his red form yet, so he's at a significant disadvantage as he has no passive. So Kennen got off a solid stun. Lux almost hit the Camille, but she makes it out.
Yeah, and that's really, really good news for blue side because that means that they burned both flashes in the top and the jungle, and Camille literally lost nothing except her ultimate, which is really huge. That means that Camille now has a lot of kill pressure on Kennen now because a ranged top laner without flash is really hard to get away from a Camille now.
And notably, the Kane avoided Camille's ultimate by ulting inside of her. So that
Yeah.
ended up being somewhat a non-trade.
So yeah, Kane's interested to see where Kane will drop this Rift Herald. He should drop it
Looks
before
like
14
he may
minutes.
be pathing towards bot as he clears his wolves and Grom.
Yeah.
Lee Sin making a play on the cannon up around top side. Yeah, going right into lane with the ward hop.
And he'll just kick him, I imagine. Oh,
It's true.
yeah,
That is
he
some
doesn't even
deadly
need.
kicks. Yep.
And
Yep.
yep, the kick comes through and he's dead. Good job.
Yeah.
You can see
It's hard to play around the 2-0 Lee Sin and the 0-2 Camille. They have a
Kane
lot of kill
bot
pressure.
and lands the Q onto exhaust comes through, but nothing will come through because Bard
Looks like a Braum alt came out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Braum ulted and exhausted, but Ashe and Bard disengaged really well. There's no hard crowd control to follow up, and so they managed to get out.
Yeah. Kennen TPing back top. He seems to be wary of repeat ganks as he bought a blue trinket for deeper warding with and hopefully to not be caught out by the Lee Sin again.
Yeah. And blue team with a slight gold advantage, 500 gold.
Kane is
Most of
pushing
it on
into the
blue
Lee
team.
Sin's Raptors, even as the Lee Sin is on red, so that may be a confrontation soon. That looks like Kane is just going to take that and get out. Oh,
Second. Wait, he's caught a little bit.
yeah.
And somebody lands the bubble.
And Lee Sin landed his
goes
kick.
in. Kane also goes in, hits the W, R's onto Lee Sin. Lee Sin flashes away and will dash out. Lee Sin.
And with the Lux stun, I think. Oh no, the Camille.
Camille comes in. Nice.
Yeah.
So Camille
with
actually
the
just
Lux
walked.
stun, I thought they had escaped.
Yeah. Camille actually just walked down. She didn't even TP because she doesn't have to. She just walked down. Oh, Camille going in against Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Again, the Camille dives.
Camille ulting onto Lux, and Lux is dead. Alright, well, BEP accelerating their gold lead, and their early game, as we talked about, is much, much stronger. So
and
they're...
with a dragon coming up in not too long.
Yeah.
Still working towards that 20-minute soul. Just a minute and a half.
Oh man, threading the needle on the Q. Hits the Lee Sin. Wow, that's some solid Lee Sin. Lee Sin is now 4-0-3. That's a strong monk right there. Yeah, and Kane still doesn't have his form. I'm not sure how close he is to his form yet.
Looks like he's repeat gang top. Hopefully he will.
Oh, he's just dropping Herald. Okay. The problem is this Herald doesn't have as much value now because tower platings are already gone. He missed his chance to get.
Though it will take the turret in one hit. Yep.
Yeah. So the turret will go down. They will get first tower, but they don't. Oh, they don't. It's not first tower. Sorry, they'll get the top tower, but it's not tower plating. So
that's true.
Not as much value as they might like.
Lee Sin looking to reset right before Dragon. It looks like he's building into his Black Cleaver.
Yep. Oh, Camille might be caught here. Getting Lux ulted. And I think she's just dead.
Yeah, with the Kane. Bard.
Kane ult.
Portaling through. Yeah.
And Kane gets out.
And Kane is on the board.
Now, this is actually really important because Camille's not up for Dragon. So theoretically, red team.
Though Kane is on the wrong side of the map. Though it looks like Lucian and Braum are going to cover it.
Yeah. So I wonder.
Yeah.
Can they fight?
Red side TSM has solid vision control around Dragon.
But Kane is zoned out. Oh my! And Ashe is caught out.
The cannon ult catches out Blade Singularity.
Yeah. So if red team gets this dragon, it's really huge. But Lee Sin has a really good chance to steal here, I think. The dragon will reset.
For those of you who don't know, Lee Sin's Q first proc into smite into Q second proc. Wow, the Bard ult catching dragon, stopping it for the moment is
Oh, he does not manage to get the steal, and he'll give a huge bounty over to Lux. Now Lux is really strong.
That's true. She already has her Ludens. Interested to see what she'll buy on her back. But Lee Sin's Q into smite into Q second proc, similar to a Nunu Chomp smite, will outsmite a just plain smite. So he has had a fair chance to steal the dragon, especially with the Bard ult, but it looks like it just didn't happen.
Yeah, and now I think with all those serious events happening, although red team is technically at a gold disadvantage, their champions
Kane
are starting to outscale a
just
little
got
bit.
his red form
Yeah.
at level 9 around 18 minutes, which is fairly
Which
late, but he now has a lot more pressure on the map, especially with the Mountain Drake to make him a little tankier.
Zoe missing the cannon minion a little bit right there, but yeah, in terms of scaling, I think blue side still outscales red side, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot closer now.
Looks like Bard and Zoe potentially looking to make a play on mid. No, the Lux is playing very far back as
Yep.
the Kane goes for Herald.
And yeah, should just be uncontested Herald. Oh, Camille taking a trade with Kennen, but nothing too much will come out that. Okay, so what should happen now is
Even
that.
though TSM has lost their bot lane turret, the
Wait a
issue
second, what is Camille
farming.
doing? Wait, she's walking into the whole enemy team. No, Camille. Oh no.
Yeah, the combination of the two AoE magic damage alts.
Yeah, no, she should know better than. I mean, they know that the red team's doing Herald, so that play should never have happened. So slight mistake on Camille's part. We'll give over a kill, and red.
With Camille having her Phage, Stinger, and Sheen, she's very close to her first item, Triforce. The Kennen has already completed his proto belt. He spikes a little earlier on that.
Camille is just really far behind now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not ideal. So what blue team really wants to do right now is they want to put Camille in a side lane. They should put Ash. They should put Ash and Zoe mid lane, and they should just try and siege as 4 in the mid lane while Camille splits.
As you can see, red side TSM seems to be going for a 4-1 with the
Ash
most
is
of their
dead.
team mid lane, and Kane and Kennen collapsing on the Ash.
Ash is like 99%
Eating
dead.
through the terrain. I don't know that she makes it out of this.
I'm pretty sure she's
red.
Oh, never mind. She
A
flashed.
lot of stickiness, but there's her flash.
All right, so she does get out. It does cost her her flash, but she lives.
Yeah. And Baron is spawning in right now at 20 minutes. So even though there's no Drake up at the moment, that is a solid objective. Camille looks to be split pushing, going for that top tower.
But they will give up mid lane tower for this because they know Ash reset. Oh, Lee Sin going in.
Oh, the Lee Sin goes
Lee
in, but
in.
Yep. A very precise Q into ult by the Lux.
Yeah.
Not much to be done about that.
The Lee Sin syndrome kicking in for
yes.
For the blue side here. Not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
Dropping Herald here will ensure that the mid tower falls.
That's
and this is actually really important, the fact that mid tower falls, because Zoe's caught and Zoe's
that was a well-placed ult by Blade Singularity with her Ash ult. She took out the Herald so that it wouldn't hit tier 2 mid turret. So she stopped the main impetus of that push.
Yep. But now that the tier 1 tower is gone, red side now opens up a lot of ways into the enemy jungle, which means that they can start putting in deep vision and finding a lot more picks with Lux and
Drake is up very soon. That would be third Drake for Big Evil Phoenix and second Drake for Team Swarthmore Mangoes.
Yeah,
Kennen just purchased his Zanyas, which gives him a lot of team fight presence if he can make it into the middle of the enemy team and hit that as he ults.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to call this game too early, but I think red side is just pretty much going to win this game.
And given that it's 1-0 in favor of red side, that would mean the semis would be done.
This is not looking great for them, I'm be honest. I think it's just so hard to walk into Lux Braum as blue side.
That is true. Though it's still 7-8. It could go either way. This dragon would even come out if it goes to red side.
The problem is they blue side drafted a pick composition, but if they don't have priority on the objective, then they can't find picks. They can only they can't walk,
but nothing to follow through on it.
Yeah, it's just so scary, right? It's just so scary for them to walk into, like, you could be snared by Lux, you could be
Lux,
stunned by Braum,
Braum,
you could be
Kennen,
stunned by Kennen, you could
knock
be
up
jumped by
into ult
Kane.
by the
Yeah,
Kane.
it's
Yeah,
just so hard to walk into blindly into Fog of War, especially when you don't have a front line, right? Like
yeah.
the blue side doesn't have a true front line. Oh, they're about to
Since
get dove.
Lee Sin and Camille are both looking to dive the back line, and the
Braum
Ashe
is dead. Yeah, Braum is dead.
and the Bard ult. Yeah, it's also again, like we stressed towards the beginning of the match during draft phase, Ashe and Bard are both immobile.
Yeah.
Which is again, you saw it with Kennen and Kane collapsing on Ashe. She had to flash to get away, so she's particularly vulnerable to the pick potential that Team Swarthmore Mangoes have.
I think honestly, it's not that they have a worse comp. It's just that Red Side's comp is so much easier to play, right? Like it's very simple.
True.
Stand behind Braum, shoot your skill shots at the enemy, and when the
Always
enemy walks
stand
at you,
Braum.
yeah, just stand behind Braum. And then when the enemy walks at you, you run at them with Kennen and Kane. Meanwhile, blue side has to play really carefully. They have to coordinate their engage with Lee Sin and Camille, and they have to disengage properly with Ashe and Zoe and land their skill shots and try and look for things. I think it's not necessarily a worse team comp. It's just much harder to execute. So yeah,
that's true. As we come out of laning phase, we've got Kennen split pushing top. He looks to be grouping around Baron, which red side is grabbing vision control of, and Camille split pushing bot being shadowed by the Lee Sin on Scuttle, though he doesn't seem to want to take that fight.
yeah.
With,
I mean,
Braum in the mid lane. That's hard to.
at this point, the only way that BEP can try and claw their way back into the game is if they start funneling farm onto Camille as she's doing right now, and then she starts like becoming a monster in the side lane. But as you can see, she doesn't even have 2 items yet, so she's still a long way from becoming that late game split pushing monster. And
that also makes it very difficult for Blade Singularity to get in the game if Camille is absorbing farm.
Yeah, so it's going to be really hard for them moving on. I think one thing that they can try and do is they can try and collapse around the side lane with Camille and look for a pick there. But they have to be careful because Baron is an objective. And although red side doesn't have the fastest Baron, if they send too many people bot lane, Baron will just die.
Also worth noting, red side has multiple bounties on it. If Big Evil Phoenix can collect those, fight breaking out bot side.
Rip.
But the Camille is not in a position to 1v2 even with an item and a half.
Yeah, I think she thought that Lucian was alone, so she went in, but then Braum came in exhausted and stunned her. And so yeah, that's not looking too good.
Very good supportive play by the Braum.
Yeah, shadowing Lucian and Lucian baiting it really well. But yeah, for a team who wants to scale their Camille.
Bard looks like he may have caught them. Oh, but with Kane and Kennen there, that's
yeah.
The tower dive by TSM.
Good Zanya, and everyone's dead. So now they should just go Baron, I think. I think this is just free Baron, but maybe they'll just stay for towers.
2 key players down, that makes a lot of sense because
they're just running for Baron.
And no Bard to stop it with his ult.
Oh, never mind. I guess they'll just be content with 2 inner towers.
Oh no,
they
looks
will be
like they're heading to Baron.
All right.
Just getting the shove on mid first.
Yep.
Clearing out vision. Getting deep
again,
forward.
It's really scary for blue team to try and contest this Baron because they have no vision, right? Like
also,
no wards at all.
4,000 gold, which is really showing itself with the item differences.
Yeah, I think this game is all but over. I don't think there's coming back from this.
Yeah.
Especially if this Baron goes down. But even if the Baron doesn't go down, it's just not playable anymore.
Ashe arrow catches out Kane, but he shrugs it off. That's the thing about Red Kane. He is very tanky.
Yep. And Baron will go down. They'll likely try and
that Black Cleaver and the Ninja Tabby.
Yep. They'll likely try and group around the next dragon, get 3 mountain souls or 3 mountain drags, which is a lot of armor and magic resist that they have to go through. Make Braum and Kane in a nightmare.
Especially if they get the mountain soul, since blue team Big Evil Phoenix is very reliant on burst between Camille, Lee Sin, and Zoe.
Yeah.
They do not want to have to whittle down a Mountain Soul.
I mean, it's just gonna make Kane and Braum a nightmare to deal with, right? Like that much resistances on already tanky members.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna
Bard
make it
holding
even
on
harder.
to his tunnel, perhaps looking to steal. Although,
I mean,
no, they're going in.
okay,
Dancing around
so
the dragon. Red team is taking. Oh, yep. There's the engage. Kane ult inside of Camille, but yep. Red side comes out solidly on head of that with a triple kill to Kennen.
that should
A
just be
very
game, right?
strong ult by Kennen.
They should just end the
Though
game
the
here.
big cost is flash.
They should definitely end the game here. Yeah,
With
the game should be
Baron and 3
over.
mountain dragons, it's
Yeah, they should just
not looking
end.
good.
They
Zoe is
have a
up
large
to
minion
catch
wave.
mid. Though I
Yeah,
don't
you
know if they'll
can.
have a
Braum
tower to
should.
defend.
Yeah, they should tank here. Yeah. Camille's not up for another 18 seconds. Lee Sin's not up for another 8 seconds. They're looking to end. Yep.
Yep.
They're looking to
And
end.
there goes the inhibitor. So we've got a super minion spawning in, even if they don't take base. Their next minion wave is a long way away. So if blue team can clear out this one,
Camille is up, but I don't think they can.
TSM
They're
might
just
have.
so far
Oh, yep.
behind.
With that turret down, it's looking like TSM is just going to shove in as they wait for their super minion wave to crash. And there
All
it
right.
is.
I guess they don't end just yet.
Going for top turret, it looks like.
BEP lives to see another day. Although how many days they'll see? Probably like 1 or 2 more, maybe. That's about the extent of it. This is definitely not the greatest for
Yeah. I mean, across the board, they have every position winning. Even coming back from the Lee Sin's really strong early lead. I mean, that's the thing about Kane. Like he got behind, he was 0-2, but he got those good kills in the team fight, and now he's solidly back in it.
They are looking to fight here.
Oh, very good sleepy on the Braum into a paddle star. Got some solid damage on him. And it looks like red team is backing off, TSM. Not following through, though they did get turret.
So yeah, I mean, at this point, if TSM want to play really safe, all they have to do is just do literally nothing for the next like 3 minutes or 4 minutes, and then just get Mountain Soul, and then they can just end the game from there with a Baron. But if they wanna, they can probably just run it down mid and just kill everyone. Both options
Bronzer
are
now
good.
vision. Camille did get the Kane's blue buff, but he's at a point where all he really needs is red. Kane is sitting on quite a bit of gold since the Baron fight into that team fight into the towers. He is not yet backed. He's still sitting on just his red smite and black cleaver.
Yeah. Looking at the items coming out, I mean, red side is starting to hit their 3 to 4 item power spikes,
Yep.
while blue team is only hitting their second items, like
Lee
very
Sin
recently.
going for his death dance next, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be
Whereas
able to finish
Kane
it. Yeah,
probably going for a Steric's Gauge, make himself even more tanky and difficult to get down.
yeah. I mean, Kane is up an entire item against Lee Sin, or
Braum
almost.
ult comes in, does not get any targets, but Lucian drowsy and E dashes out. Looks like they are fighting 4v4. Camille gets onto Kane, but unless
Kane.
Bard stops the help.
Wait a second. Kane's
Wow,
dead. They
shut
found
down.
Kane, but it doesn't matter. They're all dead.
Yeah. That
I mean, they.
I don't know that it'll turn the tides, but that was a big shutdown onto Kane by Lee Sin. The Bard ult was very instrumental in that, keeping TSM from going to reinforce Kane.
Okay, wait. Camille popping off a little bit. We'll be killing the
Will the
Lucian,
life
stunning the
steal? Yes,
Kennen,
the life
and
steal
killing.
is enough, but
Oh,
the
it
game
doesn't
is
matter.
unfortunately
They're ending
over.
the game. They're ending the game. Yeah.
A little BM by Lucian, dancing as the Nexus goes down to minions.
And that will be all.
Yeah, that is the series.
Kind of popping off a
TSM
little bit.
will continue to the finals.
Yep. That will. I mean, I think in both games, BAP got an early game lead. They skirmished well. They rotated better. But then after that, I think like individual throws happened, and then that let TSM get really, really far ahead.
And notably, in both games, the team fight comp came out ahead over the split push pick comp.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to play the team fight comp, right? Like it's very one dimensional. You go in, you sit behind your tank, and you press your buttons, right? It's very easy to play compared to split push comp, which has to juggle like multiple things at once. So generally, the easier to play comp is the one that will come out on top.
That is true.
But yeah,
All
I
right,
think
well,
really well
thanks
done to
for watching.
TSM. Yeah, really well done to TSM. Congratulations on making it to the finals, which will be at a future date that we are not yet aware of. But thank you for coming.
Yeah.